The cadets laughed the moment Ava stepped toward the scanner, small, quiet, unimpressive. An Earthborn nobody among towering alien recruits. She kept her eyes forward and her breathing even, pretending not to hear the muttered insults behind her. "Careful," a scaled Rylox whispered loudly. "The human might break the machine." Snickers rippled through the line. Ava lifted her hand and set it on the biometric plate. The surface pulsed once under her skin. Then everything changed. A piercing alarm erupted. The archway lit bright red. Station lights dimmed, flickered, and stabilized only after the warning hologram burst into existence above her head. "Earthborn, do not engage. Biological threat level, undefined." The laughter died instantly. Silence folded over the entry hall. Even the braver cadets stepped backward, eyes wide, unsure whether to run or watch. Ava didn't move. She just lowered her hand and inhaled slowly. For the first time in Union history, a scanner looked terrified of a human. Vanguard Station's entrance hall stretched like a cathedral of metal and blue luminescence. Voices usually echoed across its vaulted ceilings, but now the heavy quiet pressed in on all sides. Ava stood beneath the glowing red alert, trying to understand what she'd triggered. "This is impossible," someone whispered from the crowd. "She's Earthborn," another muttered. "They're unstable." Ava ignored them, though her stomach tightened. She had expected mockery. Humans were new to the Union, and not well liked, but not this. Security drones dropped from their ceiling ports, surrounding her in a semicircle. A sharp metallic clack echoed. Commander Vael strode through the barrier doors, tall and imposing, for crystalline arms folded behind his back. The cadets parted instinctively, fearing his reputation more than the alarm. His faceted eyes fixed on Ava with cold calculation. "Step away from the scanner," he ordered. Ava obeyed, keeping her movements slow so the drones wouldn't escalate. Vael studied the holographic warning glowing above her. "Earthborn, do not engage," he read aloud, voice low. "This designation has not been used for 2 centuries. "I don't know what it means," Ava said. Vael's mandibles clicked softly. "You triggered a genetic lock designed for high-risk classifications. Humans are not in that category." She met his stare. "I didn't do anything." "That," he replied, "is what concerns me." He gestured to the drones. They scanned her again, and again the red alert flared with renewed intensity. "Remove her from the entry hall," Vael said. "We're conducting a full evaluation." 2 cadets flinched at the order, as if escorting her was unsafe. Drones took their place instead, guiding Ava toward the interior corridors. As she walked, alien cadets whispered behind her. "She shouldn't be here. What if she snaps during training? Why bring Earthborn at all?" Ava kept her head forward. She wouldn't show fear, not today, not on her first hour at the academy she'd fought so hard to enter. The corridor Vael chose was narrow and illuminated by pulsing strips of soft white light. The moment the doors sealed behind them, the hum of the academy faded, replaced by a quiet tension that settled like frost in the air. Vael walked ahead of her. "State your designation," he said without looking back. "Ava Renn. Cadet First Class. Earthborn location? District 12, Western Continent. Medical anomalies?" "None," she answered. "Standard human physiology?" "Clearly not," Vael said. They reached a circular chamber. A thin mist drifted along the floor. The ceiling held a cluster of sensor pods, each aimed at the center platform. Vael stepped aside. "Stand on the disc." Ava moved to the platform. The moment she stepped onto it, the temperature shifted. The chamber lights dimmed, and the sensors activated. A low vibration tremored under her boots. The AI voice filled the room, calm, neutral. "Initiating psychological evaluation corridor." A section of the wall rotated open, revealing a long passageway lined with holographic emitters. Vael gestured. "Proceed." Ava entered. As soon as she crossed the threshold, the corridor snapped into motion. Hard light projections materialized, collapsing structures, incoming drones, simulated threats designed to trigger instinctive reactions. The Academy used these corridors to test composure, decision-making, and emotional resilience. Ava forced herself to breathe evenly. The floor shook as a holographic beam crashed near her. She sidestepped calmly, ignoring the rising intensity of the simulation. She moved through illusions of battlefields and disasters with a steady gait. Her heart rate stayed low. Her mind didn't panic. Instead, something inside her sharpened, an instinct she didn't fully understand yet. A final hologram of a collapsing tower crashed toward her. She dropped to one knee and pivoted seamlessly, avoiding debris that wasn't real yet felt real enough. The simulation ended. The corridor dissolved into stillness. Vael's voice echoed from behind the wall. "Repeat the final maneuver." "I didn't think about it," Ava said. "It just happened." "That," he said, "is precisely the issue." The door slid open again. Vael motioned her back into the main chamber. He studied her posture, her breathing, the way she held herself. "You displayed predictive reflexes well above human baseline," he said. "Explain." "I can't," she replied. "I didn't even know I could do that." Vael's gaze deepened with suspicion. "You are either extremely well trained or extremely dangerous." "I've trained like everyone else," Ava said. "Nothing special." He leaned closer. "Humans are many things, Cadet Renn. Nothing special is not one of them." The door behind him hissed open. A young alien cadet, slight, with silver markings, hurried inside. "Commander, the biometric logs, you need to see this." Vael took the device from the cadet and scanned it quickly. His expression grew colder. "The genetic lock triggered by this human," he said, "matches a classified pattern." Ava swallowed. "What pattern?" Vael didn't answer immediately. He stepped toward her, lowering his voice. 2 centuries ago, the Union created a warning protocol for one species. A species deemed volatile, unpredictable, capable of instinctive violence beyond our models. He paused. "That species was human." Ava's pulse quickened. "But Earth hasn't." "Silence," Vael snapped softly. "You will not speak until the analysis is complete." He motioned to the drones. "Escort her to the containment evaluation suite. We will uncover what Earth has buried, even if we must tear through every layer." The drones closed around her again. Ava kept her voice steady. "Commander, I'm not hiding anything. That remains to be seen." The chamber doors opened, revealing a long shadowed hallway leading to deeper testing levels. As the drones guided her forward, Ava felt the same instinct stir again, quiet, coiled, waiting. She didn't know why the scanner feared her. But something inside her did. The containment evaluation chamber opened with a slow mechanical groan, revealing a circular arena lined with metal plates and recessed weapon pods. The air carried a faint metallic chill, the kind that hinted at tests no cadet should ever face on their first day. Ava stepped inside. The door sealed behind her, echoing through the chamber like a verdict. Commander Vael's voice emerged from an unseen speaker, controlled, sharp, and far too calm. "Cadet Renn, you will undergo a threat assessment. The chamber will monitor responses across neural, motor, and instinctive pathways." Ava looked around. This wasn't in the orientation manual. Earthborn evaluations operate under a different protocol. "Because of the scanner?" she asked. "Because of you." The lights brightened overhead. The arena hummed. A soft tone chimed. "Threat sequence 1 starting." Ava steadied herself. The first drone dropped from a ceiling slot, unfolding in a fluid metallic shift. It hovered, scanned her, and fired a burst of light meant to trigger flinch responses. She didn't flinch. The drone paused, recalibrated, and darted forward. Ava shifted sideways, avoiding the strike by inches. The movement was clean, natural, too natural. She wasn't consciously thinking about angles or trajectories, yet her body placed itself exactly where it needed to be. The drone lunged again. Ava stepped backward and let it pass, using its momentum to guide her next position. She wasn't fighting, she was reading it. Vael's voice crackled with irritation. Increase the pace. 2 more drones descended. Ava's pulse stayed calm. Her awareness sharpened as if her senses widened. Every sound, every shift in air pressure, every flicker of metal registered more clearly. The drones attacked in synchronized patterns, zigzags, feints, rotational strikes. Ava moved with precision she didn't understand, dipping under one blast, pivoting away from another, letting her body respond faster than thought. One drone's blade arm slashed toward her shoulder. Her arm rose instinctively, blocking with a forearm that should have been too slow. She redirected the strike and stepped aside. The blade cut nothing but air. From the observation deck above, cadets watched in stunned silence. Is she trained in predictive combat? A Rylux cadet whispered. Humans don't move like that. Another muttered. Vael didn't speak. He observed. The chamber AI announced. Threat sequence 1 complete. Ava caught her breath, though her heartbeat remained steady. The floor shifted. A vertical panel in the wall slid open, revealing a second arena level. This one was more complex. Pillars, shifting tiles, partial holograms designed to disrupt spatial awareness. Ava frowned. You're escalating too fast. Vael answered. Human physiology escalates faster than most species handle. We test accordingly. That's not science, Ava said. That's bias. No, Vael replied. That's experience. The second test began. Drones activated lights that strobed across the floor. Holograms projected enemy silhouettes, each with different weaponry and movement patterns. Real and fake threats blended together, half to confuse, half to overwhelm. Ava exhaled slowly. Then everything moved. Blasts flashed past her head. Hard light soldiers lunged. Drones wove in unpredictable patterns. Ava moved with increasing precision, sliding between false images and real danger, ignoring illusions instantly as if her mind cut through them without effort. Each time an actual threat appeared, she reacted before recognizing it consciously, ducking, dodging, turning in a fluid rhythm. Her body wasn't panicking. It was calculating. She wasn't sure how. A drone fired an electropulse. Ava spun, letting the pulse skim past, and kicked off a pillar to avoid a second drone closing in from above. Shock murmured across the observers. A Zerati cadet whispered, She's reading the field like a combat veteran. But she's 19, another said. And Earthborn, someone added, as if that explained everything and nothing at once. Vael continued studying her movements with surgical attention. Ava swept behind a pillar as 2 drones collided. Sparks flashed. She knew exactly when to step out again, timed perfectly with the holograms fading. Threat sequence 2 complete. Ava leaned against the pillar, breathing harder now. The chamber fell silent. Vael's voice returned, lower than before, almost unsettled. Your reflexes exceed standard human variance by 42%. Your predictive motion pathways show preemptive adaptation. Explain. She shook her head. I can't. I don't train like this. I've never done anything close. Vael didn't accept that. Your body reacts before the drones commit to action. That is not natural. Everything I did felt natural, Ava replied quietly. Too natural. Vael keyed another command. The chamber reconfigured again, but not for another simulation. This time, a door opened in the lower section, revealing a square room with mirrored walls. Inside stood a tall, armored alien cadet, a Vorskian bruiser, arms crossed, confident. Ava's breath caught. This wasn't part of the assessment. It is now, Vael said. We need to know how your instinct operates against a living opponent. Ava stepped back. I'm not fighting another cadet. You're not. He is fighting you, Vael said. Your task is survival. The Vorskian cracked his knuckles. Don't worry, human. I'll go easy. Ava clenched her jaw. This is unnecessary. Vael ignored her. Begin. The Vorskian charged. Ava barely had time to think before her body shot sideways. The cadet smashed into the wall, denting the metal. He lunged again, swinging a heavy fist. Ava ducked under it, grabbing his wrist without planning to, using his momentum to shift him off balance. He stumbled past her, stunned that she moved with such clarity. "You're quick," he growled. Ava didn't answer. She stepped back, refusing to strike. He attacked again, faster this time. Ava avoided each blow, her movements minimal and precise. He grew angrier. Then he swung too wide. Ava pivoted, and without meaning to, used his own momentum to flip him to the floor. It happened so cleanly she wasn't sure how she'd done it. A hush fell over the observation deck. The Vorskian pushed himself up, stunned. "How?" Ava stepped away from him. "I'm not fighting you." Vael's voice cut through the chamber. "Enough." The Vorskian retreated. Ava stood alone in the center of the mirrored room, chest rising and falling with controlled breaths. Vael descended from the observation deck via a mechanical platform. He approached her through the glass partition separating the chambers. "You do not fight like a cadet," he said sharply. "You move like a species engineered for conflict." Ava met his gaze. "Humans aren't engineered." Vael tilted his crystalline head. "No. That is what worries us." He pressed a command on his wrist console. The mirrored walls turned transparent, revealing dozens of cadets staring down at her, some fearful, some fascinated, some conflicted. Vael spoke so they all could hear. 2 centuries ago, humanity displayed unstable traits, reflexes triggered only under pressure. The Union believed those traits faded. Today proves otherwise. Ava swallowed hard. "You think I'm dangerous." "I think," Vael said, "that your species is waking up." The chamber lights dimmed. A new hologram blinked to life above Ava, her biometric profile, pulsing red. Earthborn anomaly detected. Instinctive override active. Ava froze. Vael's voice lowered, almost a whisper. "Now we test how deep this override runs." The chamber sealed itself again. Ava felt the same instinct she couldn't explain coil inside her, waiting, ready, awake. The chamber lights rose slowly, revealing a new arena unlike the previous ones, larger, darker, and designed for a different purpose. Steel pillars ringed the perimeter. Reinforced plates lined the walls. At the center stood a single platform, circular and scorched from prior use. Ava stood on it, breathing steadily. Her muscles felt warm, alive. The earlier instinct had not faded, it hovered beneath her skin, waiting. Commander Vael appeared in the viewing deck above her, silent at first. Other cadets gathered behind him, whispering among themselves, unsure whether they were about to witness a test or an execution. A heavy door at the far end groaned open. Ava's eyes narrowed. A massive mech stepped forward, 7 meters tall, plated in black alloy, powered by internal reactors that hummed with menace. Its limbs were thick, jointed with rotational gears meant to mimic predatory motion. Twin optical sensors glowed blue. Ava felt her pulse steady instead of spike. Vael's voice echoed through the chamber. "This combat unit is designed for elite trainees. It will not hold back." Ava didn't respond. She didn't look away from the mech. "You will demonstrate," Vael continued, "whether your instinct is controllable or catastrophic." The mech sensors flickered from blue to red. Ava exhaled once. "Begin." The mech lunged with startling speed. The floor trembled as it crashed toward her with a sweeping arm meant to break bones. Ava dived sideways, rolling across the metal surface. The mech's fist smashed into the platform, cracking reinforced plating. Ava rose quickly, reading its movement pattern. The mech turned its torso in a swift arc and fired a kinetic blast. Ava dropped flat, letting the shockwave pass overhead. Cadets gasped. "She shouldn't be able to track that speed. She's reading it like she knows what it'll do." Ava kept moving. The mech charged again. This time, it aimed to corner her, using its bulk to limit her escape angles. Her mind sharpened. Her feet pivoted before she consciously chose the step. The instinct took over, precise, clean, terrifyingly efficient. She sprinted toward a pillar, leapt, pushed off the wall, and flipped over the mech's shoulder as its arms slammed through the space she'd occupied. Ava landed behind it. The mech rotated instantly. A heavy blade extended from its forearm. "Ava!" Jax's voice called from the observation deck, but it barely reached her. Her senses tunneled into the movement of the machine. The mech swung. Ava slid under the strike, the blade slicing a fine line through her hair. She rose with her shoulder brushing past the mech's chassis, timing the motion so the machine couldn't recalibrate quickly enough. The mech fired a stun charge. Ava shifted left, so fast the charge hit empty air. Vael leaned closer to the glass. His rigid composure cracked, showing something like concern, or awe. Ava analyzed the mech's footwork. A slight delay in its right leg actuator. A heavier tilt in its upper frame. She calculated the weakness instantly. The mech swung again. Ava stepped in close, so close the machine couldn't bend its joint properly, and struck at the exposed stabilizer behind its knee. She didn't have the strength to break metal, but the angle forced the mech to adjust its stance. The mech staggered. Only slightly, but enough. A collective breath rose from the cadets. Vael whispered, "Impossible!" The mech recovered, recalibrating its attack patterns. Its sensors locked onto Ava's chest. It raised both arms. A double strike. Ava knew she couldn't dodge both. She didn't need to. She ran directly toward the mech. Gasps erupted across the viewing deck. Ava slid under the machine's center mass just as its arms slammed downward. Sparks rained overhead. She rolled out on the far side, grabbing a reinforced cable from the wall. She didn't remember deciding to grab it. Her hand acted before thought. The mech spun toward her. Ava swung the cable around a pillar, used it to launch herself upward, and hooked the end around one of the mech's sensors. The cable tightened as she landed, forcing the mech's head sideways. Its sensors scrambled for orientation. It lashed out blindly. A strike grazed her arm, pain shot through her shoulder, but it sharpened her focus instead of breaking it. The mech stumbled, its vision skewed. Ava moved quickly, pulling the cable tighter, forcing its head further off axis. The mech reeled, exposing its reactor vents. Only a split-second window. Ava sprinted across the platform, planted her foot on the mech's thigh, and vaulted upward. Her hand struck the emergency release panel on the mech's shoulder. The mech stiffened. The arena alarms blared. Primary unit disarmed. Smoke hissed from the mech's vents as its systems powered down. The machine knelt with a heavy metallic groan, then collapsed onto one knee. Ava dropped back to the ground, landing lightly despite the exhaustion creeping into her limbs. Silence filled the chamber. Then, slowly, cadets began murmuring. "She beat it. No way a human did that. She wasn't trained, she moved like she's done this 1,000 times. Vael descended from the observation deck. His expression had shifted entirely, no longer cold, but studying her with a depth of thought bordering on fear. Ava wiped the sweat from her brow. Her arm ached, but her breathing remained steady. Vael approached the transparent barrier separating them. "Cadet Renn." Ava met his gaze without flinching. "Your performance is beyond exceptional," Vael said. "It is unprecedented. Humans were never thought capable of predictive combat at this level." Ava didn't look proud. She looked tired. "I didn't want to fight it. I just wanted to survive." Vael pressed a panel. The barrier opened between them. "Human instinct," he said quietly, "is not like ours. It adapts faster than logic can track. Your species reacts under pressure in ways we cannot predict. That unpredictability is what the Union feared centuries ago." Ava stepped toward him. "We're not a threat." Vael's eyes glinted. "Not intentionally. That is what makes it dangerous." A voice rose behind him. "Commander!" Jax hurried down the stairs. "The Council has seen the footage." Vael turned sharply. "Already?" "It streamed directly to the review board. They're calling an immediate session." Vael faced Ava again. This may change everything. Ava didn't know whether to feel relieved or terrified. The facility lights flickered. A new hologram bloomed above them, station-wide broadcast. A cold AI voice declared, "Alert! Multiple Earthborn profiles show matching anomaly signatures. Pattern consistent. Probability of species-wide activation, rising." Ava's breath caught. Jax whispered, "It's not just you." Before they processed the message, another warning flashed. "Unidentified vessels detected near Earth's outer perimeter." Ava felt the instinct inside her tighten like a drawn wire. Vael stared at the alert, his voice low. "It seems your species was not preparing for us, but for something else." Ava turned toward the hologram, the unknown threat approaching Earth. "It's starting again." She didn't know how she knew. But she did.